I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliette.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody.
This is Apologies Accepted,
the podcast.
And I'm not Theo.
And I am not Juliette.
And as always, first a Happy New Year, everybody. And as always, let us ask Theo what's shaken bacon.
Oh, well, this will be reciprocal because I am going to ask you what's shaken bacon as well. Holidays. I'm so exhausted. It's like, why do I like Christmas again?
Yeah.
Why? Took the tree down. That was not traumatic for me because I'm a hero. Yeah, and you put the tree up and it's so great. It's like, look, it's so beautiful. And you get all that wonderful stuff and then it comes down. And I was with a group of people who I like to take the tree down before New Year's personally.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
Like before New Year's Eve because I feel like that's a separate holiday. Right?
Okay.
I would not put a Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving dinner. But I think it's fine after dinner to put your tree up if you want to.
Okay.
But the holidays should not mix, right?
Okay.
Just so many jokes now that I could make. And so everybody else in the house, though, was like, no, it has to stay up until January 6th. That's when you could take it down officially, and you can't take it down before that. It's like murder. It's like murder of the tree. No, it's not like murder. It's like New Year's Eve. And, that's fine. So selflessly, I left the tree up and then took it down while everybody was sleeping the next day. Yeah. And so that was fine. New Year's was fun. And I'll just say the holidays are over. We are now at the fresh dawn of 2025, a date that when I was a child, I could not. We should have flying cars.
Oh, yeah.
Robots that do what we say.
Yeah.
Instead of the other way around. Yeah. And so we don't quite have all those things, but we're getting ready to live on Mars soon. So, there's that. Yeah. And I'll stop there because I really like this in-between time where the orange one is not sitting in office and I don't have to hear about him or from him on a daily, minute-by-minute basis.
Right.
And it feels like there's still an adult in the room. Yeah. All that's about to change. But happy. What's going on with you? What's shaking bacon?
I had a peaceful holiday season. I took the dog on New Year's Day out to the beach for a walk on the ocean. Not on the ocean, but on the beach. And we saw a bunch of people doing a polar plunge, and about half of them were nude. So,
hi, San Francisco. Don't ever change.
Exactly. So typical. But it was cold out. It was like 40-some degrees outside, and of course the water was like, I don't know what, really cold. So I admire them and think they're crazy. But good for them for getting their New Year's Day on. And I later found out that there are like 3 or 4 groups of people that do this on New Year's Day. They go out to the beach and swim in the cold, freezing water, naked or half naked. So, yeah, more power to them. But I didn't do it, of course.
Oh, God.
And I had the dog to think of. So, there's that. Of course, if it wasn't for the dog, I would totally have been there.
And naked. You would have been like, public nudity, count me in.
Sign me in. Sign me up. So that's it. Not a whole lot went on. It was just a nice, low-key, chill holiday season, which was great. And now I have to go back to work tomorrow, which is terrible, and I'm trying not to think about it. I have to prepare for my 8 a.m. meeting sometime tonight or early tomorrow morning, which is going to suck. But what can you do? That's how you make money.
Yeah. I mean, good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah. You'll do it. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be great. So we have a story this week. Speaking of great, not actually great. Russian President Vladimir Putin recently apologized to Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev for a plane crash in Kazakhstan that killed 38 people. The flight was going from Baku to Grozny when it crashed near Aktau, Kazakhstan. Putin said in his apology that Russia's air defense systems were active when the plane attempted to land in Grozny. Unable to reach the airport, the aircraft diverted east, eventually crashing near Aktau, killing 38 people. There were 29 survivors, which is amazing. I never expect survivors in an airplane crash, so glad that some people survived. U.S. officials have said there are preliminary indications that the plane was shot down by a Russian anti-aircraft system, most likely a surface-to-air missile. In Azerbaijan, investigators have said that they believe that a Russian Pantsir S-1 air defense system damaged the plane. In the phone call to Aliyev, Putin expressed his condolences but did not take responsibility for the incident. In his comments, he did not say that Russian air defenses hit the plane. Video and images of the plane after it crashed show perforations in its body that look similar to damage from shrapnel or debris. The cause of these holes has not been confirmed yet, or maybe ever, who knows. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said on X that he also spoke to Aliyev on Saturday and conveyed his condolences regarding the tragic crash. He said Russia must provide clear explanations and stop spreading disinformation. Photos and videos clearly show the damage to the aircraft's fuselage, including punctures and dents, which strongly point to a strike by an air defense missile. The investigation is ongoing, with both Russian and Azerbaijani authorities looking into the matter. I mean, if quacks like a duck, is my opinion.
Well, how dare you? How dare you bring ducks into this? It's interesting to me that they're not accepting responsibility for this. And it's, in my head, it's clear why they're not, because it points to a couple of things. One, either their detection equipment is not of a sufficient grade to see the difference between a fighter plane and an aircraft,
jet.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that. I think their monitoring equipment, whatever word I'm looking for, is good enough to do that. They just have war nerves, and the plane was approaching into Grozny, which was under fog bank. And the plane had made a couple, and I don't know how many a couple is, right? But more than one attempt to land. At a certain point, and it's very fog of war still. So you hear one piece of information from one source, you hear a different piece of information from a different source, and it's kind of hard to knit the stuff together. But it seems like the pilots were approaching. It was very foggy. They may have had to reconnect or reconfigure their flight path. Once they diverted their flight path, all of a sudden everybody got nervous. They were denied permission to land.
At Grozny?
At Grozny. So they circled around a bit, apparently, but here's where the fog of war comes in. The plane may have already been hit at that point. We don't know. One of the survivors said that she thought it was a bird strike, that a bird had flown into the engine and had caused an oxygen tank on the plane to explode, right? And so maybe, however, photos very clearly show that the plane was hit from the outside by not birds. Wasn't a bird. And I think it's all put down to war nerves. That's it. Right. But why are they nervous? Well, they're probably nervous because they are sort of not winning the war the way they thought they would be. And, now that I don't even like saying his name, and I don't want to do the whole Voldemort thing where it's like, he who must not be spoken. Right. And I also think it's childish for me to call him the orange one, but I really want to just only ever refer to him as the orange one. He's coming in. God, it's going to be a different fucking world. Vladimir Putin's going to get everything he wants. And Trump's already making air quotes around jokes. And I believe they're stupid jokes about annexing Canada and taking over Greenland and the Panama Canal. And I'll say Greenland and the Panama Canal may not necessarily be jokes.
Right.
Right? we'll see what happens. And
he's dumb enough to think that it'd be easy to do.
Well, I heard last night that and now I heard this from a human being, not from a news source, and not from an AI, right? This was a person over dinner, and she said that she had heard that the Prime Minister of Greenland had reached out to Denmark and had said, the era of colonization is over. We are no longer willing to be a colony of Denmark. We are not going to be subjugated by Denmark. We are indigenous and free people, and we are going to have a vote and determine whether or not Greenland will become independent. And may I just say, what a great time to have that vote. And wow, because the minute you uncouple yourself from Europe, you're a sitting duck, honey.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, this is a dumb time to do something like this, right? And so they can pick Russia. They can pick, I guess they could pick China, or they could pick the U.S. as sort of like their big protector.
Right.
And good luck, God bless us all.
Yeah, seriously.
Good luck, everyone. Yeah. And so we'll see what the future unfolds for us. But this whole Russian apology without acceptance or without claiming responsibility or accepting responsibility is the way the world is going to be many times over for the next couple of years.
Oh, you're probably right.
I hate being smart. It is a curse.
I hate to be right.
It's worse than being beautiful. And both of them combined are a burden. May I share with the world my forthcoming memoir, Pretty and Smart.
Pretty smart.
Pretty smart. See? That's better. That's what I should have gone with. But I am so smart. SMRT. Let's hit it. What are we rating this apology?
Well, let's hear the apology.
Oh,
first.
yes, so right.
I don't have the text of the phone call because I don't know if it was.
Your spy equipment isn't that good.
My spy equipment is not that good, but I do have the official statement from the Kremlin from December 28th regarding the telephone conversation. So this phone call happened on, like I said, the 28th, and the statement says, issues related to the crash of the Azerbaijan Airlines passenger plane on December 25th near the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan were discussed in detail. Vladimir Putin apologized for the tragic incident occurring in Russian airspace and once again expressed his deep and sincere condolence to the families of the victims and wished the injured a speedy recovery. It was noted during the conversation that the Azerbaijani passenger aircraft, which was flying strictly on schedule, repeatedly attempted to land at the Grozny airport. At that time, Grozny, Mozdok, and Vladikavkaz were attacked by Ukrainian combat unmanned aerial vehicles. Were you going to say something?
I'm impressed with your command of the Russian-esque language there.
Thank you. I took one semester of Russian.
Wow. Well, it has finally paid off.
That's right. So those cities were being attacked by Ukrainian combat unmanned aerial vehicles, and Russian air defense systems repelled these attacks. The Investigative Committee of Russia has opened a criminal case under Article 263 of the Criminal Code, violation of traffic safety rules, and operation of air transport. Initial investigative actions are underway. Civilian and military specialists are being questioned. Currently, 2 employees of the Prosecutor General's Office of Azerbaijan are in Grozny, where they are working together with representatives of the Prosecutor General's Office and the Investigative Committee of the Russian Federation. The relevant services of Russia, Azerbaijan, and Kazakhstan are also closely cooperating at the site of the disaster in the Aktau region. So that's that. He did not take responsibility, so there's a big no on acknowledgement of responsibility. He did express regret. That's about the only thing he did. There was no explanation of what went wrong. Well, there kind of was. They said that they were being attacked and they were responding to those attacks. So that's kind of an explanation of what went wrong. I'm going to give that a sort of. There was no declaration of repentance, although he did apologize. He didn't really say what he was apologizing for, except that it happened in Russian airspace. There was no offer of repair, and there was no request for forgiveness. So I'm going to give this one. Actually, I'm just going to give it a 0 because he didn't really apologize for anything in particular. He just kind of apologized, like, I'm sorry that happened, which is not really an apology. So that's an example of a poor apology, in my opinion. What do you think?
So big 0, right?
Cool.
And as you were going through the criteria and you were like, well, you're going to have a point for this. And he did do that thing. I was like, it doesn't matter. And so I'm going to say there is no apology without acceptance of responsibility.
Yeah.
It is very much in the family of, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not an apology. It is a fuck you for being stupid.
So I'm sorry that happened, which is like, okay, no.
Yeah. So it is a big 0. And you and I will be very careful to not fall out of any windows in the next 4 or 5 years. We seem to...
enucleated.
Well, we'll say no promises on dodging poison or radiation, but we will be very careful not to fall out of any windows.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're not Putin fans, weirdly. It seems odd to me.
It's strange.
So strong and powerful.
Who can say? When I think of him, I always think of that picture of him with
on a horse.
riding a horse.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And what, that was like 20 years ago?
A long time ago. That's Putin for you.
Well, I don't know. I will just say very, very carefully with attention to word choice. I wish these people would just fucking die already.
For real. There's so many people on my list of who will just disappear. There's like 5 top people, and then the rest are, let's just take care of those 5 top people, and then the rest can, as they will, trickle away. But yeah. So how about an apology expected, or who's sorry now? Do you have one of those this week?
I do. It's not happy. I want an apology from 2025 for what it's about to do, right? Oh. And not specifically to me, but just for all the fucking craziness.
General.
I was talking with a very dear friend, Judith, yesterday, and she was going to come out to visit us, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make the journey. And so she was calling post New Year's to say, hey, let's have a catch up. And so we had a really nice catch up, and she's had quite a year. Right. She's returned back to Germany from living abroad. She's gotten a new job, and then she got another new job. She's moved to an apartment. She's had a lot of changes to deal with. And I think a lesser person would have collapsed, but she has heroically met every challenge. And the reason I share all of that is I'm a gossip, but also she was telling me that this challenging year that she has faced is going to change soon because it is Year of the Snake approaching for in Chinese astrology. And we're currently still in Year of the Dragon, and she is a dragon, and according to her birth sign, her Chinese birth sign. And so according to Chinese mythology, if your birth sign year is a problem for you when that year springs. So every 12 years, you're guaranteed to have a shitty year, right?
A run time.
So cool. And she was saying the Year of Snake is all about change and metamorphosis. And I was like, that sounds so good for you and bad for the rest of the world. So, Shotzi, I'm happy you're going to have a lovely year. God bless us all, is all I could say. What about you? Apology expected, or who's sorry now?
Apology expected, and this hasn't happened yet, but Amazon is making a movie about Melania's life.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
An Amazon spokesperson said, "We are excited to share this truly unique story with our millions of customers around the world." And the documentary, of course, will be executive produced by Melania. So we can expect no objectivity whatsoever, and it's just going to be a sign of what's, like you said, what's to come in 2025. So a bunch of hagiography and bullshit. So I would like an apology in advance before this thing even gets off the ground.
Oh my God. And what will be worse, the salt in the wound, is if it's good. It will not be good.
No, it won't be good.
Right.
But that would be annoying.
But it would be annoying if it was beautifully shot and it becomes an important piece of filmography, right?
Yeah, and her life is actually interesting. That would be terrible.
Well, I mean, it is kind of interesting that she ended up being a first lady, right? Who knew that marrying a man 50 years older than you could result in money?
How old is she? Well, there's no way to find out.
Well, there's no way to find out the actual truth. But what we know is that she is alive and seems to be an adult. No, I think she's in her 50s now.
Is she?
Yeah. And he's in his 80s. So, you know, there's a whole...
She looks great. I have to give it to her. She looks good.
I mean, she does. And if I had access to that kind of money, God, I would... Well, I mean, I am stunning, but I would be more stunning.
Yes.
That
hard to imagine.
What do we call it? It wasn't the glory burqa, but the glory shield. That was it. The glory shield. I'd have to wear a beauty shield because people would fall down dead if I walked outside. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see about that film, to use a word.
Yeah. Yep. And that's it for me today. Stay cool, cucumbers.
Hey, don't trip on 2025, you potato chips.
Happy New Year.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.